as you guys kind of skip along, and once she feels like she's out of earshot of you guys, she's like, "You beg something, I don't know, but you're begging to not kill your friends. You tell it that you cannot kill them." Now, I don't know. Your past is your past, okay? From what you said at the fire tonight, that is a little fucking scary. Don't kill me. Strahd is looking better and better every day.
We return to the adventuring party.
Okay.
Sneak around. Sneak.
Okay, they're coming.
Run away. Run away.
That's the first time I've just like had fun with a match in a long time.
Last we left off, had kind of decided on going to dinner with Strahd after dealing with Madam Eva at Serpool, and that you would bring Irina with you because she kind of insisted and said that she could help you with any kind of like local customs. You also seem pretty aware that like being rude in any way or like disrespectful to Strahd is like not in the party's best interest. And then, yeah, you're going to go get your fortune read by the gypsy fortune teller, Madam Eva.
I don't care. I don't want to go to a stupid dinner.
We kind of like last kind of crested the forest into the actual Vistana encampment. I gave you guys a little bit of descriptors about that, and yeah, it's up to you. Would you guys like to kind of talk about some of the questions that I posed to you, or do you just want to roll right into it?
I feel like everybody except for Caelvo is ready and prepared to go to this dinner. Why he would have us to dinner, I feel like there's no good reason for him to have us for dinner. He could just be having us for dinner to annoy the shit out of us, kill us, or just torture us a little bit before letting us go.
Yeah, he just wants to play nice. I don't play nice well with bullies. I don't want to hurt the party, but I don't really want to eat with that guy.
That may be true, but if we do not go, he will come and kill us. There's no doubt about it.
Can't we kill him first? Usually I'm not in
Do
favor
you
of
think
killing,
you can
but
kill him?
I'm willing to make an exception.
Caelvo, do you think you can kill him? I know I cannot kill him.
I just don't want to eat with the guy who killed my dad, that's all.
Yeah. We don't want to do it. It's a measure of having to do it.
Mm-hmm.
My fear that he would kill us is only assuaded by the fact he hasn't killed us already when he's encountered us, and he could do so if he wish.
He could just look at us and we could just poof.
Yeah, he already broke one of us.
But if you stay next to me, or between me and Irina, maybe we can, help teach you some of our customs in the dinner room. You know, that you are from a different place. So I'm sure you may have not been to a place like of the nobles.
Irina kind of speaks up at this point and says, "Indeed, and think of it as more of an invitation to get to know you. He probably is more interested in you as people directly in kind of confrontation with him, as opposed to what he's just seen and what his spies have told him. He wants to get to know you better, whether that's as his food or as someone he respects. That's kind of yet to be seen, of course, but
you may be disappointed."
I'll go for you guys, but only for you guys, okay?
That is all we ask.
He's
I
grumpy
do not
now.
think it will be good for her. It will be easy.
Yeah, definitely easier
Uh,
with you guys. So, but he's grumpy thinking about it. So,
I'll say that at this point, you guys can start to hear kind of the music, and then at this point, you begin to see the camp. Once again, you see color. If this is kind of the first time, really, since entering this land, that you've really seen anything that wasn't dark and depressing in many ways. There does still seem like there's something off about this encampment, though. The mist kind of still grips at the bottom of the kind of the caravan and onto the ground. You can kind of see it swirling around people's feet still. There's still, it feels not quite right, but it is still civilization, which is kind of your first experience of it since being in the land. And as you guys kind of approach into camp, kind of taking it all in, once
Real
again,
quick.
you see... Go ahead.
Caelvo would mutter to himself, but he's as he does it far enough back because things seem weird. But he'll ritual cast detect magic, so by the time he gets there, hopefully that'll be active.
Okay, yeah, as you approach into the camp, your detect magic is definitely starting to detect some kind of magic. Let me see...
Yeah, I can only cast ritual spells as rituals until next level.
So you're definitely detecting like divination type magic kind of in the area, augury even. I'll say that those are kind of like the two main magics that you're kind of detecting in this area.
That honestly helps him to relax a little bit. It almost reminds him a little of home.
Yeah, I would imagine so. It definitely reminds Caelvo a little bit of his home and kind of the sages that he's used to being around. And as you walk into camp, once again, you guys catch kind of the eye of Madam Eva, who seems to know that you were coming. It's almost like a... yeah, I mean, she looks at you with a knowing gaze, almost, and a little bit of a knowing smile before entering into her tent. And as you guys kind of continue through the camp, you notice and hear the sounds of music, chatter among some of the people. Some of them look at you, some of them don't seem to care that you've entered. You hear kids playing and stuff like that around some of the caravan. The lanterns kind of like hanging off of... some of these carriages and stuff that you see around camp, lanterns kind of hanging outside of tents as well. And an older kind of gentleman approaches you. He has a pipe in his mouth that he's currently puffing on. You can see kind of smoke occasionally not rising off of it, and it actually kind of glows a little bit red. And then as he kind of stops and lets out a puff of smoke, the smoke also comes off of the pipe. And let me give you a picture of him. This gentleman has kind of like the yellow kind of headband that's adorned with like different kinds of like trinkets and almost like a chain kind of going around it, just a small, fine, what looks like golden chain. He's got a beaded necklace, a multicolored kind of tunic wrapped over what seems to be a decently nice kind of like a cotton shirt underneath it. If you check in your shared player journal, he's got glasses on as he kind of approaches you. Welcome to the Serpool encampment. It is
Thank
my
you.
pleasure to greet you, and as you must know, we've been expecting you. The leader of our camp has, at least, I suppose. You see kind of like a little twinkle in his eye, and yeah, he kind of greets you and walks you over to the kind of like major campfire area in Serpool, where it kind of seems like the entire caravan is kind of circled around that encampment. And yeah, as he kind of like sits down, I'd like to get to know each of you before we invite you into our leader's tent.
Very well. Hello. My name is Elizabeth ThornWyck of Briarholt. And I do a little curtsy, as I normally do.
You see him kind of nod. It's a pleasure to meet you, Elizabeth. My name is Stanimir.
Nice to meet you, Stanimir.
The pleasure is all mine. And your friends? He kind of looks and gestures to your other three. Sorry, 4 with Irina.
Well, I'm Caelvo from Kelpwood, and this guy seems nicer than Strahd. I'd rather be here than over there, you know?
Yes, careful, but maybe we don't tell everyone our business when we meet them.
Oh, yes, please ignore that. Nice to meet you.
He kind of chuckles. I do understand the Count is unique in that sense. But your friend is right. Do be careful how you speak of him. In these lands, you never know who his allies are and who they aren't.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
I'm Azricus.
See him kind of give you a look up and down. You're definitely, like, I would say the biggest of the group and probably the biggest, kind of creature in camp currently. Though you're not like a behemoth or anything. And interesting. You're quite unique, my friend, but it is a pleasure to meet you. Something about you feels a little familiar. You see him kind of like stroke his beard a little bit.
Can I roll insight?
Yeah.
This +4. Oof. Not a great start. That's a 13.
On a 13, you feel like he's not lying to you. There is definitely something about you that strikes him as kind of familiar.
Like
I'll even
spirits almost type of thing.
Kind of, yeah.
He's got like a vibe check going.
Yeah, it's almost like a shared history almost. But, obviously you two have never met, at least in your knowledge. But yeah, it's kind of something where it almost puts you a little off in terms of, like, he knows something about you that he shouldn't. I'll say that much on a 13. He looks to Alden, Alden, I think you still have your mask on, yes? Okay.
You're muted.
Yeah, I put it back on while we were walking along the trail.
And he kind of looks, and like the mask is like really crude, right? It's like not very good.
It was literally a like stack that I cut eye holes into.
Okay, you look like the guys out of I can't remember.
I basically look like fucking Scarecrow.
Yeah, exactly.
I tried giving you a trimming of my dress with some holes in it, but you decided the bag was better.
He kind of looks at Alden, and you, my friend?
I like close my fist and put it across my chest. I am Alden, Knight of the Burning Chalice.
Interesting. I've never heard of your order before. Is it common for them to wear sacks on their heads?
No, I am the first.
A trendsetter then.
He was horribly burned in an accident.
Does your, I guess, burning chalice make sense? So, are you the first in your order to be burned by the burning chalice?
You see, I believe it is kind of an embarrassing story.
I don't mean to pry, my friend. He kind of like waves his hand dismissively. My apologies for being rude. If you'd like to talk about it, or we do have healers here as well, we can definitely take a look at your burn. I believe that, assuming it's not too terrible, it's within our wheelhouse to be able to help.
I'm going to kind of cut him off in the middle of him talking and pull my mask off and throw it on the ground and say there's no sense in lying of what you've made me.
Very well.
So when you say of what you've made me, is it clear that you're kind of talking to like Elizabeth or you're talking to Stanimir?
You're muted, sweet love.
I'm kind of just talking. She would be able to infer that. I don't think that he necessarily would.
I'm gonna roll insight on
Yeah.
him and see if it is something. I mean, you got a
Caelvo
16
thinks
on
you're
the die,
talking
that's not
about
bad.
him because he didn't stop it, so he feels guilty.
So with a 16 on the die and he has a +2, I'm gonna with an 18. It seems like he is picking up that there's maybe some internal strife in the group and doesn't take it as a direct kind of thing at him because it just doesn't make much sense otherwise. And he for a moment you can kind of see his eyes widen as the realization dawns that he's talking to a vampire currently. Interesting. And do you hold your little green friend's feelings about our count?
It depends.
He gave me my free will.
You see him kind of take another big toke off of the pipe. Well, I must say you are quite the unique and interesting group, that is for sure. Well, first off, let me be the first to... And then he kind of catches the eye of Irina as well. How intriguing. We have a vampire. He kind of looks at Caelvo and Azricus. Whatever you two are, I'm not quite sure. Someone who seems to be of nobility kind of eyes you up and down, Elizabeth. And the true desire of Count Strahd von Zarovich.
Am I
You guys-
person you two are acquainted?
Irina kind of shrugs. We've seen each other before. Stanimir responds, indeed, we have. We Vistana are quite aware of the Count's desire for you. You see him kind of furrow his brow for a moment. I do believe that you should indeed go talk to Madam Eva now. You can camp here for the night after your discussion with her is finished. And he kind of stands up from one of the logs and directs you to Madam Eva's tent, stopping just outside of it. He almost he dares not to enter. Right inside, please.
We all go in. The last soothsayer I went to, they did one at a time.
No, you may all go in for now. If she wants to speak to you one at a time, then she may, but for now, I have orders to let you all in and talk to her.
Inside.
Irina kind of stays out by the campfire. She has zero desire to talk with Madam Eva. She's had her fortune read many times.
I walk towards the entrance of the tent and then hesitate at the threshold. And just kind of stop there.
Stanimir kind of looks at you and then looks... There's a random Elizabeth in Alden's camera. And then looks at the others, kind of wondering if they're going to, I suppose, at this point step in and maybe ask him why he hesitates. Why do you pause, good sir?
I cannot enter.
You hear kind of a chuckle, a dry, kind of raspy chuckle from inside. You may enter, good sir.
I duck my head to go into the tent.
I'm assuming the rest of you also follow suit.
Yeah, Azricus was already inside. He walked inside immediately after he asked the question.
Wait. Tents work on vampires? Caelvo asks as he walks in.
I would have just walked in anyways.
It is any dwelling, my friend.
Sorry to hear that.
The murmur of the Vistani camp kind of fades behind you now as you push inside and you push kind of aside the heavy flap of the tent. Warm air now rolls out to meet you with a thick scent of incense and burning herbs. The interior is dim. It's illuminated only by kind of a cluster of flickering candles that have been arranged sparsely throughout the tent and around kind of like a low wooden table inside of the tent. The flames dance wildly despite the still air, casting long, twisting shadows across the embroidered rugs and kind of hanging silks inside of the tent. You see that colorful tapestries drape the walls of the tent, each depicting strange symbols, wandering spirits, and distant lands none of you really seem to recognize. Glass beads and bone charms hang from cords kind of above your head, clinking softly whenever someone moves and touches them. I imagine Azricus kind of brushes them as he walks in, especially if he's not ready for them. You kind of maybe have to like duck a little bit down in order to avoid them just sitting on top of your head or your face. At the center of it all, though, sits an old woman. Her dark eyes glimmer in the candlelight beneath a hood of deep crimson cloth. You see, as you kind of get a closer look at her, wrinkles creasing her face like ancient maps. But there's nothing frail about her presence. She sits straight-backed behind a table covered in warm velvet, her fingers resting atop a deck of yellowed cards. And before any of you can really speak, after that kind of like brief interaction between Caelvo and Alden as you guys walked in, yes, she says. Her voice is really low and gravelly, yet warm, kind of like an old fire. I have been expecting you. Her gaze now sweeps kind of slowly across all four of you, and one by one her eyes linger on each of you, almost too long. A knowing smile kind of curls across her lips as she sees you. The mists were correct. Fate has gathered a most curious company for me tonight. Her finger lifts, pointing first towards the Warlock in your group. Right to Elizabeth, this kind of old and gnarled finger. Madam Eva tilts her head kind of slightly at you, studying you through the fog, almost like it's through fog. The mist clings to you more tightly than others, doesn't it? You hear her kind of inhale deeply through her nose. Yes, I smell it on your soul. The same ancient breath that coils through these valleys. Her smile grows a little thin now. A bargain was made for you with the unseen, wasn't it, child? She pauses for a moment. But tell me, and she kind of leans forward, do you believe the mists serve you, or that you serve them? And before... Go ahead.
I was gonna say, that is what I would like the answer.
She kind of nods slightly, and then her gaze now shifts to Caelvo. Her brow furrows briefly,
Hi.
confusion kind of crossing her face before amusement follows. Well, now, this is a strange one. You kind of hear her chuckle softly a little bit. Her eyes are now narrowing thoughtfully. You do not belong to this land, not even a little. You carry the scent of distant worlds, places even the mists cannot easily swallow. Then she kind of taps on the table with her one crooked finger. And yet, she's now looking at you, almost kind of like through you, in a way. You carry a thief's shadow behind you. There's kind of a pause. But the shadow does not fit the soul. She nods slowly to you. Interesting. Very interesting. Next, you see her attention kind of drift towards the orc in the room. Her expression now is much more serious towards you, Azricus. Her smile fades entirely, whereas it felt like she was almost jovial before and curious and interested in the creatures that stood before her. She's now studying you for quite a long moment. The beast scratches at the inside of your bones, she says, her eyes darkening in this moment. You fight it well, but Blood remembers what blood is. Her voice now softens slightly. You carry 2 tragedies within you, don't you? She raises 2 of her fingers. One who loved you and one who believed in you. Her gaze sharpens, and you fear the beast may yet claim more, don't you? Finally, her eyes now move over to you, Alden. For the first time, her expression becomes genuinely solemn. She does not speak immediately. Instead, she kind of slowly leans forward, peering closely as if inspecting a scar that's invisible to the others in the room. Oh. The word was almost whispered in the moment. You've already died once in this land. Her eyes now lift to meet your red crimson eyes. The devil's teeth have tasted your blood, haven't they? The candles flicker suddenly in the room, and yet he let you go. She kind of now leans back, straightening her back out, studying you with a newfound interest. That is not mercy. The thin smile now returns to her. That is a story waiting for its ending. You then see her kind of gather the Taroka deck. Now, she says quietly. Spreading the cards across the table. Let us see what fate intends to do with all of you. So, you see Madam Eva now kind of shuffling the deck a little bit. You kind of notice a velvet pouch sat next to her as well, on the actual velvet table. And as she kind of now meets each of your eyes, shuffling the deck, she cackles quietly. The task you seek of me is no small boon, she kind of murmurs. In exchange, I would ask a boon of my own.
That is only fair. Is there something specific you'd like from us?
Indeed, she says as she kind of now adjusts her pouch forward onto the table. Inside this pouch you will find 10 gold pieces. My great-grandniece, Arabelle, will celebrate her 10th name day in 2 days' time, she raises 2 fingers up. For this momentous occasion, I wish to provide her a gift. But in my old age, I am quite unable to make the journey myself. Would you please use the funds in the pouch to purchase a toy for Arabelle at Blinksy Toys in Vallaki? Blinksy, she kind of notes fondly, Blinksy's are Arabelle's favorite toys. And you'll find her at the Vistani encampment to the southwest of Vallaki. And if you could deliver it by noon on Arabelle's name day, I would be forever indebted to you. You're also welcome to keep any of the change for your efforts.
Do you know what she enjoys? Should we get like a horse or something?
You know, you could get her a doll or really any of Blinksy's toys. These days it's been too long since I was a 10-year-old girl myself. Though I'm sure that Blinksy might have a better idea of what to get her in his store.
We can do this.
Caelvo takes out his pouch and counts out 10 shell marks and puts them on the table. Here, just in case, we'll do our best, but for your troubles.
She kind of takes the shell marks. Once again, kind of, her eyes drift almost through you to your shadow behind you. Very well, thank you. And she even kind of, with a cryptic smile, notes, you may even enjoy speaking with Arabelle. She's a most interesting child.
Okay.
I'm sure. After all this dreariness, it would be nice to see the smile of a child.
Indeed, and befriending her family may even be a gift in and of itself. Now that you've kind of taken the coins, she nods approvingly and then begins her Taroka reading. She sets both decks on the table before her now, having split the deck after shuffling. Closing her eyes, she places her right hand over the surface of the larger of the two decks. The crimson flames in the room now dim and swirl in eldritch patterns as her lips move silently. There's a distant tension now kind of spreading through the air of the tent. The sound of rustling trees outside begins to kind of dim the external world that you know exists outside of the tent. It feels as though everything outside of this tent is now growing mute and insubstantial as the space within grows more solid and more real. Slowly and reverently, the crone draws 3 cards from the top of the deck, laying them face down separately on the table. With the second laid in between and above its partners, she then moves to the smaller deck, drawing 2 more cards. The first she places below the first 3, forming a cross, and then the second she places in the center. The shadows of the room and the kind of like baubles and trinkets that she has around the room begin to kind of sway around her like silhouettes almost, leaning in toward the cards like anxious watchers, yet the air in the tent is perfectly still. There's no light that intrudes besides the light of the candles kind of around the room. No voice really rings out in the silence now. Shadows and mists swirl kind of beyond the tent almost, where the darkness in the forest, kind of even behind the encampment of the deepest of night dwells now. But here, at its center, in this tent, light yet reigns. The crone then moves her wrinkled hand to the leftmost card, the first. She closes her eyes and tilts her head forward as if listening to an unspoken word. The arcane lights swirl and then shift. Their colors are now changing to a deep, piercing blue in the tent. This card tells of history. Knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your enemy. She flips the card over. The cerulean light now dances within the tent, and it dances across the surface of the card, revealing an illustration of a smirking guardsman looking up at a haughty priest. The priest's pointing fingers mere inches from the guardsman's nose as the guardsman readies a wickedly curved dagger behind his back. The 9 of Glyphs, the traitor. Her dark pupils shift from side to side as though reading from an unseen text. I see an ancient foe of an old and noble house. The lost soul will lead you to him. She moves her hand now to the second card. This one is at the kind of the top of the cross of cards that she has on the table. As she closes her eyes and listens once more, the candlelight now flares, its color bursting into a fierce, cheery yellow. This card tells of a powerful force for good and protection. You see her hand kind of shaking over the card for a moment. A holy symbol of great hope. She flips the card over. This time the light reveals a new illustration. An armored warrior clutching a cracked iron sword and a leather-bound wooden shield. The warrior's face is obscured kind of by a heavy iron helmet. The 5 of Swords, the Myrmidon. Her eyes stare deep into the darkness that lurks beyond the tent now. She now moves her hand to the third card, at the right arm of the cross, her eyelids closing like a trance. Her lips are pursed in a quiet contemplation. The candlelight vanishes for a heartbeat and then returns in a nova of fierce burning white in the tent, so pure and strong and clean that it almost hurts to look and burns to see if you stare directly at it. Madam Eva's eyes now snap open, burning with a fierce determination. This card is a card of power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight. She flips the card. The light in the room now reveals a third illustration on the card, a solemn-faced man clad in holy vestments. One hand clutching the chain of a bronze censer that billows with burning smoke. The 8 of glyphs, the bishop. The crone's voice is strong with purpose. What you seek lies in an amber prison where the devil fears to tread. She intones with her eyes now narrowing at you as a group. This weapon is long hidden. The house of the fallen dragon can lead you there. She now moves to the 4th card. At the bottom of the cross, and she listens once more, tracing small circles across its back as she hums a contemplative note. The magic flames leap and dance upon their wicks now, casting a swirling violet embers into the air as the kind of baubles shimmer in the twilight glow around the room. This card sheds light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against the darkness. She flips the card over. This time, the illustration revealed is a quiet graveyard choked with fog, its entrance sealed with a sharp iron fence. The mists, Madam Eva leans forward. Finally, she moves her hand to the 5th card and nearly recoils, her brow furrowing until the wrinkles split her forehead like a trench. Behind her, shadows encircle the candlelight until the light is very nearly swallowed by the creeping dark. When she speaks, Madam Eva's rasping voice is scarce and above a whisper. Your enemy is a creature of darkness, whose powers are beyond mortality. When the hour of judgment arrives, this card will lead you to him. Her hand trembles above the card for a silent moment, and then deft, ancient fingers reveal its opposite side. In the now dimmed candlelight of darkness, the 5th and final illustration is only barely visible to you. Through the smoke and unnatural murk of the room, upon the card's surface dwells a depiction of a crowned, grinning emperor clad in royal finery and reaching for a goblet of wine. Though his limbs are wooden puppet limbs, lashed to corded strings that disappear into the darkness overhead. Madam Eva slowly exhales. The marionette. As the last syllable passes her lips, the old woman freezes and then rocks backwards, her eyes rolling until the whites in her eyes gleam like pearls in the darkness. And then she snaps back, the candlelight burning down to its ordinary crimson glow in the room. The sound of the natural world returns. You can hear the whispering of the wind through the trees outside, the distant hooting of an owl, the faraway lapping of the Ivless River against its banks. Silver moonlight once again pierces the edge of the encampment, and you can see the fire kind of behind you from the encampment beginning to kind of roar back to life. And you feel yourselves able to breathe for the first time since the reading began. Madam Eva says nothing now. She only regards you silently with dark, heavy eyes.
Does it look like the reading took a lot of effort from her?
Yeah,
like
I think
she's like exhausted or something.
Yeah, think of it kind of like it's almost like she's out of mana in a way, right? Like her energy is gone. You can tell, especially when she pulled the marionette card, that really seemed to take a lot out of her.
Alden turns his back and leaves the tent. Kind of brushing, if there was anybody like between us, kind of just brushing past them.
Stanimir was standing outside of the tent, but not like in your way, really.
Gotcha.
Are you okay, madam? You want some water or something?
She, without saying a word, kind of raises her hand dismissively. Her eyes still heavy and kind of sullen and dark. Before, it takes like a solid moment of a pause after doing that. You can kind of very quietly hear her say, "I just need a moment." And Alden, give me perception as you walk out of the tent.
Oh, I didn't realize I was muted. Sorry, 14.
You're good. On a 14, I'll say you, as you walk out of the tent, the man Stanimir is like not really, I mean, he's not hiding his presence at all, right? It's like quite obvious he was standing outside of the tent the whole time. You hear footsteps walking away from the tent, but as you kind of go to like look to see where you heard the noise from, there's nobody there.
I speak. Show yourself.
Nothing.
I peek my head into the tent, or I go back and peek my head into the tent and say, "We have an unwanted witness." And kind of, I don't have my sword yet, but I kind of pull my staff out and I'm going to go search around the tent.
Okay.
Chirp, go help him.
So because that reading is like quite cryptic, I want to give you guys like some deeper hint. This is all above table, but it's something that Madam Eva doesn't necessarily like give you in her reading, but it is quite difficult if you don't get it. When she pulls the 5 of Swords, this typically, the Myrmidon specifically, stands for you need to look for a den of wolves in the hills overlooking a mountain lake. The treasure belongs to Mother Night that you're looking for. For the mists, because she doesn't really give you anything on that, at least in the way that I read it. Let me pull that card.
Is it the graveyard and the fog one?
Yes. It feel like, so the way that I kind of wrote it is like, because I know every inch of Barovia now, having read the book and everything, like it's clear to me what it means, but it might not be very clear to you guys. So I want to give you a little bit of a deeper reading into the cards.
Yeah.
Mists speaks of a Vistana that wanders this land alone, searching for her mentor. She does not stay in one place for very long. Seek her out in St. Markovia's Abbey near the Mists. And then lastly, the last one I'll give you guys is the Marionette, which, give me a moment. The Marionette, look for a man of music, a man with 2 heads. He lives in a place of great hunger and sorrow.
Interesting.
Great hunger and sorrow. Interesting.
Yeah, it'll become more, I don't
He
know.
lives in Barovia.
The moment that you guys, the 2-headed part is what I'll say is like very, that's what will become clear to you and you'll know you're in the right place. It sounds quite confusing now, but when you end up in the right place, you'll know that you're there. And as Alden kind of comes into the tent and lets you guys know that, like, hey, you guys were potentially listened in on by someone that you don't want to have listening, what do the rest of you do inside of the tent?
Well, Caelvo is sending Chirp to go help with the search, and he's just sticking by Madam Eva to make sure she doesn't have a stroke and die.
Elizabeth would be right there also trying to make sure she doesn't have a stroke and die. But, like, I don't have any healing things, so I'm just like, you good?
Stanimir kind of pokes his head into the tent. Let us give her some time to rest. This takes it out of her.
Thank you for the reading. We do appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much.
She kind of silently and solemnly like nods her head and like raises her hand. Alden, roll investigation as you kind of search around the tent. And you can even do it at advantage with Chirp helping you. Because like if Chirp saw something, then Chirp might like go stand by something that, you know.
Yeah, thank God, because I have a -1 to investigation, so.
Let's go.
17.
A 17. You notice kind of like small impressions in the ground from where footsteps were that lead away from the tent and around the, so like, let me see. Let me get to the map here. You notice footsteps that lead from like here. Jesus.
Oh, you'll have to pull us, because I'm still at the title screen.
I'm here. I can see the tent.
That's because he was still launching when we were already on.
Yeah, I forgot to pull you. So there would probably be footsteps from like here leading all the way to like this tent where you lose track of them. They seem to kind of go around the backside of the tent.
Gotcha. I did find my character model that I'll use.
Yeah, just let me. You can either send the name of it to me in a DM, and I'll pull it when I have time.
Okay. I'm gonna call for Azricus as I approach the spot where I lose track of it. Azricus.
Kind of go over there. I was like, Azricus was looking around, but not really. He was more like mentally chewing on the words of Madam Eva. But I'll come over when I'm called. You found the tracks?
Yeah, and I point down to him. I lost it here.
Does it look like it's just kind of the terrain shifted to like terrain that wouldn't hold tracks as well, or do I get the feeling that he just can't find them?
It looks like, so I'll say that you guys kind of notice that the tracks do lead around. Hold on, you weren't wrong about the key bindings. The tracks look like they kind of lead around here, and then you lose them on this side as they kind of go into the camp, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, once you hit the dirt on this side...
So they went back into, like, the mass of people?
Exactly. At this point, it could be any of the Vistana.
Yeah. Are there any who stand out as, like, maybe not fitting in? Be an insight check or something? Perception?
No. Only because, and I'll even meta this a little bit for you, the person who it was looks just like a Vistana. So even if you like perception or like investigation, insight, even with like a nat 20, I don't think you'd be able to tell them apart as a different type, but like they are Vistani.
Rude.
Right. No one's sitting in the shameful seat. I guess there's not really a shameful seat in a circle. Damn you, Knights of the Round Table.
We get to, like, we're at the campfire pretty much, right?
Yeah, as you guys kind of like circle around and come to the other side of the tent, yeah, I mean, you're like in kind of the big dirt circle that kind of like surrounds the campfire. There's like these bushes that kind of stand in between you and the campfire, obviously, right? But
I'm going to kind of set my staff on the ground because I was carrying it like a weapon. I'm going to kind of set it down more like a staff
Mhm.
and say to the group, "Who sat last?"
You see a lot of the group kind of look up at you. There's a few males in the group, along with one woman, and then Stanimir is now also kind of walking. Oh, this is Caelvo, sorry. Stanimir is now also kind of walking from the tent over.
Yeah, Caelvo will join him.
One of the Vistani speaks, "What's it to ya?"
Why do you hide when you wish to listen?
The man who spoke up seems a little confused. And then he kind of, with his hands kind of outstretched, you see that he's got a couple of rings on each of his hands on, a couple of fingers. "I'm not trying to hide, nor do I care to listen to you." He kind of laughs to, some of the other men around him before taking a big drink. Stanimir kind of steps over to you now, his voice into a low whisper. "You'll find that here is a home to all. We are accepting of all people, but you will find some of the Count's spies here too. It's best that we not provoke them. Instead, let us all have dinner and dine together," he says, as he kind of gestures you over to the campfire. The guys who you were kind of speaking with before stand up and walk away because they don't really care about you and they don't really want to deal with you. They kind of walk off. One female is staying sat down, while Stanimir also sits down near the campfire after kind of gesturing you guys over.
Is Irina still by the fire?
Yes. So a female aside from Irina, sorry.
Elizabeth went to go sit at the fire as well, since he said there was going to be dinner.
I look at everybody's feet.
Give me...
Perfect.
Probably not going to be good because whatever I just rolled was a 13.
You know what, I'll do it on the 17 that you had earlier for investigation. Kind of residually on that 17, you're looking for feet, and I'll say that the feet weren't big enough to be like a full-grown male's. So it's either a child or, which you haven't seen many of them, other than like the kids who've been playing around and stuff, but you haven't seen like any of them by themselves really, or a woman. You don't necessarily see anything that like matches exactly, just because they were like impressions on the grass, right? It wasn't like you're out here with Cinderella's slipper or anything.
Does anyone, and I'm not saying anything, Caelvo's just looking, if he still has it active, but does anyone look different? Like, do they look like they're magically changed? Like some people have magic on them, others may just be fully magic.
You're not detecting any of that kind of magic around you.
Okay.
As you guys kind of all sit down now at the campfire, Stanimir sits up. There's like a pot that's kind of like sat over the fire that's like warming what seems to be some type of stew. He like grabs a couple of like wooden bowls that have been hand shaped, and then ladles what appears to be a pretty hearty stew into a bowl for each of you and passes it first to Elizabeth, then Alden, Azricus, and Caelvo, before kind of looking back at Alden and being like, "You don't really need that, do you?"
I take it and eat it anyways, or at least try to.
I don't actually know how that would work for vampires. I imagine it tastes disgusting to you, though.
And Strahd specifically did say that I would not be able to eat anything other than rats. So I imagine that like it's just horrible.
Yeah,
if you
I'm
think
gonna.
about the Vampire Diaries in the you know how Damon sires the girl and then she has to like eat fresh blood. If she doesn't, she throws it up all the time.
I kind of.
That sucked.
Yeah.
So
I
I believe in
kind
the
of-
Forgotten Realms, they can chew and eat food, but their body doesn't process it, so it would just sit in your stomach and rot.
Ooh.
And you would eventually reject it and like throw up or something.
I'm kind of. I want to say for the purposes of this, because Strahd was pretty specific in like the punishment he was giving Alden, right? Alden is like doing his best to kind of fit in, obviously, at this point, and like not be rude to the Vistani either, obviously. But for the purposes of this, I kind of want to say that it, as you go to eat it, it turns to ashes in your mouth. And it tastes about how you would think ashes taste. It's just like, yeah, disgusting, but like you can choose whether or not to continue dealing with that out of like either humility or like respect for the Vistani, right? Because like they worked hard on the stew. Or you can choose to just like stop eating it, because this is kind of the first food you've tried since becoming a vampire, so you had no idea this would happen. Yeah, he kind of like looks to you, take your first bite.
I mean, yeah. So I take my first bite, and it like kind of just turns to ashes in my mouth. I turn to the side a little bit and cough, and like I just pout, just like of just ash leaves my mouth twice.
Azricus sat right next to you, just has ash all over his face, and is like, "Thanks."
Just kind of shrugs.
Yeah.
You could just give Azricus your food. I'm sure he would like it.
He then hands a bowl. He hands a bowl to Irina, and then the other female Vistani that still sat down at the campfire. In the stew, it's a hearty stew of rabbit, potatoes, turnips, lentils, and parsnips, alongside like hearty chunks of flatbread that are kind of stuck into the stew as well.
Do you happen to have any ale?
Indeed we do, though because I'm not a mean person, I will warn you to not drink. Though if you still want to drink and party, then by all means, we have plenty.
Well, I also have this bottle of whiskey.
I
And
think
I
you fit in
drink-
nicely here.
I pop it open, and I drink it, and I hand it to him.
He takes it and takes like a good healthy amount out of it before setting it, or not like setting it down, but as it kind of releases from his lips, he then offers it to, I think the next closest person to him would be either Caelvo or Azricus. He like kind of reaches out kind of in between you guys for whoever wants to take it.
Azricus just kind of holds a hand up.
Caelvo would have tried to bring his stew back to Madam Eva just to give it to her and then come back to the camp after.
Okay, so Caelvo, let's say that Caelvo has kind of like stood up and walked away at this point. And when you get to the tent, Caelvo, you look inside and you see Madam Eva is asleep currently. Like you kind of like you poke your head in, right? And Madam Eva is still in the same position, just like head down, granny snoring currently.
Yeah, he'll put the stew on the table next to her, not so she rolls into it, but close enough, and then return to the camp without it.
Okay.
So weird. They always fall asleep with a half-done crochet project in their lap.
Yeah. She's just in there, just fucking snoring it. So, Azricus, you kind of hold your hand up as like you don't want any, right?
Yeah, like kind of just declining politely.
He kind of shrugs his shoulders and looks at the female Vistana. who grabs it, takes a really large drink of it, like way more than is like respectful with not your alcohol. And kind of, it releases from her lips, and then she kind of continues to kind of pass it around. I think it ends up with you, Alden. I don't think you could end up drinking any kind of alcohol, really.
You're muted.
He's gonna try it again and do the exact same thing. Cough, cough, out the ash, and just pass it to the other person.
Okay, so it's kind of mostly passing between like Elizabeth, this guy, Stanimir, and the female mostly at this point.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to try and hand it to Irina.
Interesting. Okay. Irina apprehensively takes it from you. Takes a, I would say like a respectful amount of whiskey from it, especially for a lady, and then passes it back to Elizabeth. As you guys kind of continue to pass around drinks, you see Stanimir kind of wave a couple of gentlemen over. These gentlemen walk over with a fucking keg, a massive like cask of, you don't really know what's in there. Seems like liquid, but you're not entirely sure. They then kind of basically, yeah. They then kind of start passing around this fermented liquid, the closest to like ale that they can probably get, really. That is infinitely strong. Also extremely disgusting. And as you guys kind of continue passing it around, by the end of the night, Elizabeth, you find yourself. Actually, give me a Constitution save. I want to see how drunk you are.
So since he told us, I was going to sip their alcohol and not chug it down the same I would have the whiskey.
Give me so I'm interested in that, right? Like, there's a point when you're doing that where you're fucking drunk enough that you like stop controlling yourself enough. I'm wondering, do you ever hit that point, and if so, when?
I think we'll see. All right. First, let me see. What dice I want to use? Okay, we're gonna use this one, and then a con save. Oh. Well, I rolled a 2.
Okay. So let's say that like you start off cautious, right? You're like a little tipsy from the whiskey after you guys have downed that bottle, and then you kind of start off a little cautious because you understand that like their alcohol is really strong, and you're trying not to like gag and throw up, obviously too. By the end of the night, you are blitzed drunk. On a 2, I'll say that you're like up dancing around the fire with absolutely no rhythm or anything, right? They're like playing on like a lute kind of around the fire. They have music kind of going in the background. You have absolutely no rhythm. You're just dancing into the night.
If any of the Vistani are dancing, I'm dancing right around with
yeah,
them.
all of them are really, except for Stanimir is kind of sat by the fire. He's a little too old for it now. And the female that was originally there is also still sat. But Irina is up dancing with you guys. I don't know, Alden, Caelvo, and Azricus. Do any of you guys get up and partake in the festivities?
No.
Azricus
is very in thought right now.
I get up and walk into the forest on the exterior of the camp and start looking for rats.
Okay, roll survival. Okay. I'll say that it takes you like 10 minutes total to like capture one. But after about 10 minutes of kind of searching around and you miss like 1 or 2 here or there, you eventually capture one. Elizabeth, you find yourself dancing with a bunch of people you don't really know other than Irina, kind of dancing around the fire. There's like music and songs being played in the background. Eventually, the campfire and the festivities start to kind of die down. And You guys find yourselves once again alone with only Stanimir and the female at the fire. Another male also has stayed behind. He's kind of like a larger man, a little bit more sullen, a little darker. And you hear the girl. She now asks you guys, so where do you guys plan on going now?
I believe our plans are for Velaki next.
Oh, how interesting. The kind of darker, sullen man introduces himself to you guys as Arturi, Arturi. And he asks, and you come from Barovia, yes?
Yes. That's
Is,
right.
is there any news from Barovia? He kind of leans into you with a bit more interest now. And did you guys encounter a man named Rudolf von Richten?
We've never
No.
met the guy, but he seems like a fucking prick.
Interesting. You see him kind of shy away a little bit reserved. Well, von Richten is somewhat of an acquaintance of mine.
Do you
And
know where he got a bunch of people killed, and then he just fucked off?
Well, I had heard a rumor that he had recently been seen traveling to Barovia.
I've
Barely
never met
saw
the guy.
anyone
but-
there. There were less people in Barovia than I've seen in any town of that size.
What's he look like? Maybe we could say hi to him for you.
Well, I'm unsure if he's dead or not. I suspect that he still lives, but he's a average-sized man, wears kind of like a cape and had a top hat the last time that I saw him. He's well known for disguising himself, though, so I'm unsure if giving you any information of his looks would be of any use, really.
Cape
suspect,
and top
though-
hat. Got it.
I've heard that the man is impressively hard to kill.
That is interesting to know.
Stanimir kind of now pipes up, once again, continuing to kind of smoke his pipe. As guests at a Vistani fire, you guys are expected to adhere to certain customs for us. You now must play in a game of stories. Would you like to accept?
Okay.
To play, each of us, we will also play, kind of points to the female, Arturi, and then himself. We must put up a wager. It can be an object of small monetary, intellectual, or sentimental value. But each of us, including you, must then share a story to make a man laugh or weep. Each time a story is told, the other participants in the game must guess whether the story is truth, falsehood, or both. At the end of the game, the one with the most correct guesses wins the pot.
Caelvo
It
puts in
sounds-
5 show marks.
The perfect game.
Azricus kind of like scratches the side of his jaw and chin. These aren't the kind of games that I'm well versed in.
Oh, surely you have a story, or you can make up a story that makes us either laugh or weep, good sir. You look
The
like
only
a...
stories I know would, well, chill the blood of normal folk.
Good. I always could use a good horror story, you know? We, after all, do live in Barovia. I imagine you might find it quite hard to chill my bones. Stanimir now takes out kind of a worn deck of Taroka cards. These once belonged to my late wife. They've sat unused and dusty in my wagon for long enough, he says, and you can kind of see a sad smile now crossing his face. I think she'd like it if they were out in the world again, and he places them down onto kind of like a little stump near him. The female Vistani, you see her kind of pull out a brass spyglass with a small kind of like maneuverable mirror that should like allow the user to see around corners kind of, and she places that on the seat next to her. Arturi, the rather kind of like larger guy, wagers a short kind of like manuscript on werewolves authored by Dr. Rudolf von Richten. He kind of pulls out the book and places it down next to him. Irina kind of pipes up and pulls out a wooden hair clip in the shape of a sunflower. I once wore this as a child, and it reminds me of my mother. So as you've wagered something important to you, I'll wager something important to me. And she places it down next to her.
In the same vein, Elizabeth undoes her necklace around her neck and puts it in the pile. This was a gift from my father.
A great gift indeed. He looks over to Caelvo's 5 shield marks. That'll do. And then over to you, Alden, and Azricus. Wondering what you two will wage.
You're muted.
I take out my scroll and offer that.
What was the scroll again? I can't remember.
Let me see. 1 second.
We had sleep and I can't remember what the other one was.
Fog. It was a
cloud.
scroll of fog
Oh,
cloud.
that's
Yeah,
what it was.
that's what
Okay.
I had.
A good wager indeed. That will definitely do. And his eyes now fall upon you, Azricus.
Azricus takes the holy symbol of Ilmater that he carries and sets it into the pile.
Oh, that will do indeed, yes. I quite like all of your wagers. Now, would you like for me to start, or would you like to start?
I'm not going to pretend that I'm good at telling stories, so I'd like to see what you've got.
Stanimir kind of nods and says, very well then. Stanimir kind of opens his story with a laugh. Don't worry. We have no wish to make you enemies of my lady. I have a story to tell all of you. First you listen, and then we go. Stanimir fills his mouth with some of the kind of ale and wine of the earlier party, and then spits it into the fire. The flames turn from orange to green as they dance and sway. A dark shape appears in the bonfire's core. We come from an ancient land, whose name is long forgotten, a land of kings. Our enemies forced us from our homes, and now we wander the lost roads. The dark shape of the fire now turns into the form of a man, being knocked from his horse, a spear piercing his side. Stanimir continues, one night, a wounded soldier staggered into our camp and collapsed. We nursed his terrible injury and quenched his thirst with wine. When he survived, we asked him whom he was. He wouldn't say, though. All he wanted was to return home, but we were deep in the land of his enemies. We took him as one of our own and followed him back toward his homeland, where the entire way his enemies hunted him. They say he was a prince, yet we didn't give him up, even when their assassins fell upon us like wolves. Deep in the bonfire now, you can see the dark figure standing with sword drawn, fighting off a host of shadowy shapes. This man of royal blood fought to protect us. As we protected him, we bore him safely to his home, and he thanked us. He said, I owe you my life. Stay as long as you wish. Leave when you choose, and know that you will always be safe here. The figure in the dancing fire vanquishes its final foe, then disperses in a cloud of smoke and embers. Stanimir's face... Excuse me. And then he kind of ends his story with... Hold on. I wrote this like an absolute idiot at the last moment. Oh, okay, sorry. The figure kind of in the fire as it vanquishes its last foe. You see the figure dancing in the fire, and it then disperses into a cold smoke of kind of fire and embers. And then he sits back down from his tail. The girl kind of speaks up, the girl Vistani. I believe that was true. Arturi, the man, kind of speaks up. That was half true.
I think that was just a story.
I believe it was half truth as well.
I would lean towards truth.
Each of you keep up with how many of these you get right, by the way.
And I the same.
And you believe it is true as well?
Yes.
Good. That's 1 point for Eliza over here. He points to the girl Vistani. And everyone else who guessed that it was true, you got it correct. That was indeed a true tale of our people. And that wounded prince lived on as a friend of the Vistani, even when his heart was led astray by shadows and mist.
Oh, I didn't know that part. I just figured you went... If he had such a nice place, you would probably want to be there instead of here, because this is not as nice a place, I'm sure.
That prince was Strahd von Zarovich in the days before he came to Bravovia, and his promise to the Vistani is why we remain in the valley to this day, without fear or favor.
Oh.
Now, which of you would like to go next?
I'll tell a story.
Okay, my little friend.
Okay, so one day I was at work. I was working at Ernest Frog Charioteers. It's a bunch of giant toads that kind of deliver people and stuff. And I was working with the lugback called Champ. And I was brushing him and we were having a good time. And then this lady screamed. And I turned like, what are you screaming for? Well, apparently Champ had swallowed her kid. And, well, I had to tell him to drop it, but it took a bit of coaxing, but he finally gave up the kid, and the woman just left. She didn't even stay for the fair. And so we had to keep Champ away from kids from then on. So...
Stanimir's the first to speak. I believe that was true.
I also believe it was true, Caelvo.
You said you worked for a church. I think this is a lie.
No, charioteers. It's different.
Eliza kind of piggybacking off of what Alden said. I believe that was also false. Arturi, the larger man, speaks up. He seems pretty cynical. I'm gonna go with false as well. And Irina kind of pipes up. I think that was half true.
Was that everyone?
I think... Don't know that I've ever heard you lie. I don't know if I could tell if you were lying, Caelvo.
That is my problem as well.
I think Half true.
That's it, everyone?
Yep, that's it.
Why would I lie? I wouldn't gain anything from lying. Of course it was true. We
I
actually had to
knew
put a sign in the
it.
front of it that said, rides are no longer eating kids, so it's safe again. So yeah, it definitely was true. And that lady, she never came back. I don't blame her, but yeah, 100%.
You see Stanimir kind of take a big puff from his pipe. I would like to visit your land one day, young frog.
I'll be glad to show it to you. All 4 villages.
Well, if the Vistani are invited, we will surely make our way there one day.
Good.
He kind of gives you a warm smile. And then the female Vistani speaks up. It is said that with each raven flutters a lost soul, and that each raven's song tells a tale of ages past. They whisper, so listen closely. She takes a deep breath. When she speaks again, her voice is quiet with an eerie, melodic quality to it. Sing, ravens of Barovia, birthed from the mists and bathed in twilight. Sing of Lugdana, the morning lord's stalwart, dawn-touched foe to the deep lurking dark. The holy symbol of ravenkind, her radiant testament, the warrior's beacon of faithful resolve. Sing, ravens of Chernavog's rise, named green god and demon lord upon Yesterhill. Lugdana, gray-haired, weary of battle, her long sword and shield yet polished and ready, guided through shadows towards sacred ground. She clashed with the demon, their tempest-like dance. Sing, ravens, of Lugdana's last fury, of ravenkind's token now blazing with light. The battle's tide turning, a hero's brave cry, a final onslaught with divinity's grace. The demon lord banished, the warrior now fell, the wound at her side gouged, too deep to bear. Sing, ravens, of light's final moments, a shadow descending from radiance on high. Sing of the angel, black-feathered and beaked, the morning lord's angel reclaiming its gift, the symbol retaken, its raven's claws held. Sing, ravens, you are the keepers, the watchers, the tellers of stories untold. Sing, ravens of Lugdana's memory, the shadows that lurk and heroes to come. And her eyes kind of fall on Irina for a moment before back into the rest of the group.
I'm just gonna go and go with truth. I don't know.
I wouldn't expect outsiders to know the tales of our history, but it is up to you to tell whether or not I am lying.
I say half truth because I've heard birds speak, but not that much.
I also believe half true.
Her eyes
There's
fall to you, Alden.
No story of Lathander I've ever heard, but it seems in his nature true.
As you guys all kind of answer, Stanimir votes that is true. Arturi votes false. And Eliza reveals that her story was half true. She says, Lugdana was indeed a paladin of the Morning Lord who bore the legendary holy symbol of ravenkind, which was a platinum amulet shaped like a sunburst with an enormous ruby embedded at its center. According to legend, the symbol was given to Lugdana by an angel in the guise of a raven. She kind of notes with a chuckle, though. No one knows what happened to the symbol after Lugdana fell at Yesterhill, nor where it resides today, though. Stanimir now looks to the rest of the group. With Caelvo having gone, he looks to the remaining three. Which of you would like to go next?
I can go next. When I was a little girl, I used to have an imaginary friend. And this imaginary friend used to visit me while I was playing around my room I was sequestered in. And every day when my lady's maid would come and check on me, she would ask who I was talking to, and I would tell her my imaginary friend. And after, the years, you grow up, you realize you don't have an imaginary friend. Well, my imaginary friend never went away. That is my story.
Stanimir kind of narrows his eyes at you. I don't like it, but I think it's true. Eliza says, I think that might be half true. And Arturi says, you're either crazy or it's false, and I'm going to go with false.
Caelvo gives his answer by saying, did you bring him with you here? And he's looking around. So he believes it. It's true.
Azricus is very heavily kind of just looking at Elizabeth like... half true.
I think it to be true.
That
Says
is
like
it. Although
he hesitated
Morvelis
a moment
doesn't.
just looking at you beforehand.
Although Morvelis doesn't talk to me very much anymore, and I've been called crazy multiple times. But
Irina kind of pipes up in the background. Yeah, you should hear her talking in the tent at night. The things this woman says in her sleep is crazy.
She's like, hand me that whiskey.
Yeah. Would either of you like to go next? Stanimir looks between Alden and Azricus.
Alden looks at Azricus. Yeah, perfect.
This is the story of how I began my struggle to control my own cursed blood and fate. I come from a tribe of orcs in the forests of Cormandir. They were savages. They took from everyone, and they gave nothing back. I'm only half orc. My mother was a captive of the tribe. I never got on well with the other orcs. And eventually, I escaped with my mother and another captive. I would have died that night if I weren't found by the man who would teach me everything I know. But the cost of mastering anything is steep. The night of my hunter's bane, I did not know that I would and become a beast. They had told me that they were preparing me for a test. I did not know I would become a monster in the night, maim my own mother, and slay my own teacher. But now, I have the power to end evil. And that is what it cost.
There's like a solemn kind of energy that befalls the campfire now. Stanimir eyeing you up and down, kind of nods almost knowingly. That was true. Eliza kind of looking at you a little bit skeptical, a little unsure. I think that was half true. I think you may have left out some details. Arturi says, "You don't look like a monster to me." False.
I'll go with half truth.
Caelvo and Alden.
I'm kind of looking at you up and down, looking into the fire, and I answer while looking into the fire, true.
Caelvo will walk up to him and I'll be like, I'm sorry that happened to you, and he'll hug him, believing it to be true.
It's all right. It is true. And it's better than an alternative fate.
I guess that leaves me.
Indeed, Stanimir pipes up. He kind of offers his pipe, by the way, to Azricus, kind of noting that that might have taken a lot out of him.
Azricus definitely takes the pipe. He just doesn't want to drink right now.
Azricus will smoke to that, yeah.
Let me think of what I wish to tell you.
True, he really is thinking about it.
There was once a cleric of Lathander that got so close to the light that even in undeath he found a way to wield it. That's kind of what I've said.
You see both Eliza and Arturi kind of eye you up and down. An undead user using the light of Lathander. False. Stanimir kind of eyes you up and down. There's kind of like a mutual respect between both of you that's built like very slightly, right? Over you like ripping off your mask essentially and being like, hey, we're not going to lie to this guy. So Stanimir says, I don't believe you've lied to me yet, so I'll say true.
I also believe it to be true.
True.
Well, faith can do a lot of things, can't it, Thara? So I believe it true.
Did Irina answer yet?
No. Irina responds with, I think that's half true.
And so, I'm not waiting on anybody else, right?
Nope, everybody else voted. Actually, Azricus didn't vote, sorry.
No, I did. I said true.
Oh, sorry, then yeah, you're good.
Okay. I am going to answer that it was true, and I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on who's the older gentleman again? Sorry, I forgot his name.
Stanimir, the guy that was smoking the
Stanimir.
pipe that passed it.
And
Yeah.
And I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on Stanimir.
You see the two who thought that you were lying, their eyes kind of grow wide. How interesting. And is that the light of Lathander?
I know no other light.
How
I like
interesting.
lean in at the fire and like look at it, you know.
That really surprises me that Lathander would provide power to the undead. She kind of eyes you up and down. It's like obvious that you're a vampire, right? Nobody's taking a guess that you're not undead. Interesting. You should be studied, young man.
I'm sure my order will wish to learn of how I became.
I must ask you. Your order, were you zealots? This is Eliza speaking, by the way.
Depends on your views of zealotry, I guess.
Would you slay the undead without really thought, or... if they're undead, they should die, right? They are unclean.
Yes.
My wondering is, you seem like a nice enough person. You seem like you have your free will. I don't think you should die, personally. Not without any... You've given me no cause to think that, at least. Do you think your order would think the same?
My order would kill me the moment I step foot in front of them. As they should.
Interesting. Do you still plan to return to your order if your current affliction remains?
They will kill me. They will cure me. And they will let me walk again.
What do you mean by walk? She kind of questioningly. Like, they'll revive you and bring you back from undeath. Or you'll be able to walk among, your Lord Lathander.
Either is fine by me.
Interesting. Well, I can't quite say I agree with your beliefs necessarily, she says, but I can appreciate the conviction by with which you believe in it. I personally don't think you deserve death, if you ask me. Your circumstances, I doubt, were chosen. At least by you. She says, kind of like eyeing around the rest of the group, having kind of overheard the conversation from earlier when you first kind of met Stanimir. I don't think anybody would choose that fate. Irina now speaks up as kind of the last among the group to go. Oh, sorry. It's actually Arturi's tale, and then Irina will speak up after. Arturi kind of speaks up. There was once a fox, renowned for his wisdom and skill, who dwelled with his kit in the misted woods. On a cold moonlit night, a pair of sparrows brought him their child, the tendrils of death clutching its shivering body. The fox took the chick into his den, but for all his knowledge, he could not cure its ailment, and it breathed in its last in his paws. Driven mad in their grief, the vengeful sparrows, aided by 4 of their kin, stole the fox's kit in the night. They delivered him to the wolf, who had long hungered for the taste of fox flesh. The wolf devoured the kit, and the sparrows departed to return to their flock. When the fox found what the sparrows had done, rage clutched his own heart. In his cunning, he knew that the rats in their burrows beneath the earth had always despised the songs of the sparrows far above. The fox descended to the kingdom of the rats, and he promised them a forest free of songs from the sparrows. Intrigued, the rats agreed. The rats could not find the sparrows' nest alone, though, but the crafty fox could. And as the sparrows slumbered in the hollow of a great oak, the rats fell upon them to feast with tooth and claw. For the crimes of 6, the flock perished, with nary an egg spared. The misted wood is darkened now, and the trees no longer sing with the songs of the sparrows, but some say that the rats hunt still, that a lone chick yet escaped their clutches, and that one day they will find it and gobble it up like the rest. Stanimir and Eliza state, I think that was true.
I think that is true.
I think it is a half-truth.
As do I. Half true.
Well, it's a nice story, but it can't be true. I mean, not even a house sparrow or a true sparrow could be big enough to carry something like that. Even a Harris sparrow, which is the biggest sparrow variety out there, wouldn't have the wingspan to be able to carry a kit, even a fox kit. So, can't be true.
Stanimir kind of eyes you up and down, Caelvo. Arturi kind of eyes you up and down. The story is true. It is interesting. You are a
Caelvo's tongue
talking
falls and
frog.
hits the floor.
You are a talking frog stood in front of me, sir. At this point, I believe anything is real.
True, I did have a frog almost eat a kid, so I guess you have a good point there.
He does say, though, kind of with a sad smile crossing his face after, the chuckles kind of go around the campfire. A story cannot truly be told, though, until it has ended. Irina now speaks up and shares the following tale. When I was a child, my father took me and my brother to a vast and tranquil lake. I remember the sand beneath my bare feet, and the lapping of the waves against the shore, but then something broke the silence. A low growl that echoed through the wind. As I turned, I saw a beast emerge from the fog. A wolf far larger than any I'd ever seen. I still remember its eyes, yellow, cold, and hungry. My father screamed for me to run. I took off for the woods, and the wolf followed, its snarls echoing through the underbrush. I remember the branches whipping against my face, thorns cutting at my feet as my legs burned and my breath grew ragged, but my fear drove me forward. It was only much later, when my heart had quieted in my chest and the wolf's footsteps had faded into silence, that I finally allowed myself to stop. By then, though, the woods were very strange to me, and my father's shouts had also faded. The heavy mist, her eyes now fall upon you, Elizabeth, had descended around me, and shadowed shapes lurked in every corner. I stepped forward, one hand reaching fearfully into the fog, and a wolf made of mist leapt forth, its jaws opened wide to devour me. And then everything went black. The next thing I remembered, I awoke in my own bed, my father's humming echoing from the kitchen. I don't know how I got there or what became of the wolf, but I can still remember its teeth as clearly as ever.
Brae, I believe Strahd's been toying with you for a lot longer than we imagined.
Ruth.
True.
I'll say it didn't really happen because it sounded like you had a scary dream.
Stanimir votes, I believe, true as well. Eliza and Arturi both kind of pipe up, false. Irina now, her eyes falling directly to you, Alden. Kind of almost the first time she's really looked directly at you in a moment. The story was false. With kind of a quiet, almost devious laugh.
Hey.
You're right, Caelvo. The story was a dream.
Aw.
I've had that dream since childhood. There are no lakes near the village of Barovia, though, and I've never seen a dire wolf until recently, really. We saw one, I believe, on the road, even.
Dang. I also thought it was a metaphor.
Now, everybody tally up how many you got correct.
I got a measly 3.
Same.
Yep.
5 correct, 2 wrong.
Yeesh.
So I think that makes Caelvo our winner, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone
I don't
else got
think
up to
else.
5.
Yeah.
Caelvo, you win the pot. Everybody comes over, and at least among the group, you guys can obviously give out whatever you want to. But the Vistani come up, you get handed the deck of Taroka cards. You get handed Irina's kind of like wooden pick. Let me see what the others wagered again.
So Caelvo's like, hey, that was a fun game, everyone, and we appreciate you letting us stay here. And he'll take the pot and he'll give everyone back their stuff. Everyone's a winner tonight.
Thank you, Caelvo.
So, the spyglass from Eliza, you give back to her, yes?
Yep.
And the Taroka cards.
Mm-hmm.
Stanimir rejects you giving it back to him. He says, I think that my wife would like it if these cards were out in the world being traveled with again. Maybe you can put them to better use than I have.
Okay.
There is also a manuscript authored by Dr. Rudolf van Richten from Arturi. I ask again, would you like to return that one?
Yeah. It doesn't belong to him, and he's trying to make up for something in the past in a way. So
Arturi takes the manuscript for a moment and says, I have no need of it. I think that it would be better use in your hands. I've read it many times.
Okay.
It's 2 pages long, and here I'll give you what it says. And with that, Arturi is the first to stand up after kind of passing the manuscript back. And he says, I must bid you all a farewell, and he departs from the camp. He starts to kind of walk away from the actual camp itself as well. He's like walking out towards the wood.
Safe travels.
You see him kind of raise a hand as he now walks into the darkness of the woods.
Does he not stay at the camp?
No, not at night, Stanimir says as he kind of takes another long drag off of his pipe. He, I'm afraid, was maybe a little selfish tonight. and pushed his fortunes maybe a bit farther than he dares. The camp is in danger each moment he lingers after dark.
Well, he seemed nice.
When you say danger, what do you mean?
Give me a persuasion check.
Insight? Oh, persuasion.
Yep.
I'm real good at these guys. Don't worry. I have a whole -1. That is a 19 for an 18.
Let's go.
Oh, hell yeah.
You do convince
Hell
him.
yeah.
Stanimir taking another kind of like long drag off of his pipe before letting out a large kind of billow of smoke. The undead pursue the poor boy wherever he goes. They've haunted him each night for the past 18 years. A kind of solemn, sad face now grows over him. A man once vowed that the undead shall take him, he says, and although they have not yet succeeded, they never failed to try.
Sounds like a powerful curse.
Indeed, we have not the ability to break it.
And
So-
many in these lands could.
Does this thing happen a lot to people? Because it seems like it might happen a lot to people.
Being cursed?
Yes.
Perhaps, I suppose. You know, it really depends on who it is you've made upset in the land. If you have upset our gracious host, Count Strahd von Zarovich, then, I would say that your friend's outcome, he kind of looks at Alden, is perhaps one of the easier outcomes I've seen of someone being punished. At least you have a chance to maybe right some wrongs. I have seen people... He kind of pauses for a moment. You see like his face kind of twist a little bit too. I've seen some pretty horrible things happen to people. I'll just leave it at that. Vistani, however, can use curses as well. Our delightful Madam Eva is somewhat of a sorcerer, and you could say, though she uses divination magic and augury a lot. She is no frail old woman when it comes to her ability to use spell work. I dare say the only one in the land who may challenge her is Count Strahd himself.
Interesting.
Perhaps Rahadin too, though I don't believe Rahadin is quite the spellcaster that his master and she are. Vistani also... Go ahead.
Are there a lot of fortune tellers like Madam Eva?
None quite like her. You'll find a lot of snake oil salesmen and other fortune tellers. There are people in Vistani encampments that are fortune tellers, and some of them better than others. Madam Eva, I would say, is the best I've come across. We Vistana have the ability to also curse our foes, though many believe it to be superstition.
I've never taken much stock in these things before, but I feel like maybe the land here has an effect on me as well.
Interesting. You think that it's just the land that has had an effect on you, or...
I mean, like a personal effect. Like, maybe I'm starting to believe some more things.
That's fair. The land will do that to you. And Eliza now kind of pipes up. You mentioned a name earlier, madam. You said that was your imaginary friend, yes?
Oh, yes. Morvelis, my imaginary friend.
And he's been with you ever since you were a little girl?
Yes.
She kind of adjusts a little bit in her seat. And he talks to you?
Not as much anymore.
You ever have terrible nightmares, wake up in cold sweats?
I don't think I've had very many nightmares until I started sleeping on these lands, no. But they do have... I mean, they have been happening more often, yes.
And is he ever in those nightmares?
I mean, yes, sometimes, but he's just my imaginary friend.
She kind of just nods her head knowingly.
Do you know something about this Morvelis? I thought there was a known name in my brain. Somebody I made up as a kid.
Nope, never heard of him.
Do I
kind of like
believe her?
Yeah, roll insight.
Okay, I gotta roll my other dice now and see how that goes.
Yeah, I was going to say this earlier when you did your first roll and you were like, oh, which dice do I use? And then you rolled a 2. I was like, this must be what it feels like to have Laura Bailey at a table.
Yeah.
Well, I have 2 main dice sets, and they both fit this character, so...
Perfect.
I got
Holy
a
shit.
17. I rolled 13. I got +4 to insight.
Okay.
22.
With a 22 and a 7, you said 17, right?
Yeah, 17.
You both clearly tell she's lying when she says that. She is not really even trying to hide it. She kind of, her eyes fall from you, Elizabeth, to the rest of your party. I wish you all the best of luck, she says as she kind of stands up, tucks away her like little like spyglass thing or whatever, and goes to start walking away from the bonfire.
Where does she start walking to?
Her tent.
Okay.
I'm gonna call out and just, what do you know about that name? This.
Yeah.
As she's kind of, actually, give me a persuasion check at disadvantage. Anybody in the party can do it.
I was gonna say I'll give her the help action if she was also going to be interested in calling out.
Yes.
Elizabeth can do it. With the help action, I'll say you can just roll straight.
Okay, roll. What was the? What
Persuasion.
was it for? Persuasion. Okay. Oh. All right. It's disadvantage.
You're rolling straight because of the
Oh
help
shit.
action.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna call it anyways. I rolled a natural 1. I do have a +6, but I don't think that's gonna matter.
On a nat 1, she kind of turns with a knowing smile to the group, kind of like looking over her shoulder. She's continuing to walk towards her tent. And with a knowing look, she says, "No, I don't know anything about that name."
Do you know something about a different name?
She kind of just gives you a smile and then turns back around and continues walking to her tent. Cinnamir kind of like raises a brow. He's like pretty toasted at this point too because he's been smoking on that pipe all night. And he's been like drinking and stuff. This dude is crossfaded as hell at this point. He's like,
He's having a great time.
well, I think I'm going to go ahead and pack it in. It's been quite the night. I appreciate you all. You are all free. There is a tent over by Madam Eva's tent here. He points to the tent right here.
Stanimir, what is she like? I'm talking about Eliza, who just walked away.
Stanimir, having found kind of like kinship and camaraderie with you, Azricus like kind of leans in and talks like he like. You can tell he's trying to whisper, but he's like a little too fucked up to whisper, and says, "I'm pretty sure she's an agent of Strahd, but like I said, all are welcome here."
I figured.
He kind of like gives you a little elbow and then stands up, and heads over to his tent. He like once again gestured to this tent as kind of being y'all's shared tent, and it's definitely big enough for everybody to fit in.
Okay. Sick. So,
Man.
what do I say in my sleep? I'm looking at Irina.
Irina kind of looks at you and is like, "Are you sure you want me to say it to you in front of everybody? It's some wild shit, woman."
I guess that is what we can talk about in our tent. And I like hook her arm and we skip along to the tent.
Okay. As you guys kind of skip along, and once she feels like she's out of earshot of you guys, she's like, "You beg something, I don't know, but you're begging to not kill your friends. You tell it that you cannot kill them." Now, I don't know. Your past is your past, okay? From what you said at the fire tonight, that is a little fucking scary. Don't kill me. Strahd is looking better and better every day. You sound like more of a fucking monster than he is. But that's just, and you say some other things that are pretty fucking horrifying too, but I'm not even going to repeat it, okay?
Oh, shit. I'm sorry,
You, like, beg your mother not to, like, kill your father and crazy shit? You have lived a fucked up life, okay? I thought that I had a terrible life.
Couple of weeks have been really hard.
I can tell.
I'm sorry.
Is there something really talking? Do you have an imaginary friend that really talks to you?
Sometimes.
Is that who you dream about?
Sometimes.
With the way that fucking Vistana was talking as well?
I know, I'm fucking... Oh, what the fuck?
You're fucked!
Dude, it's never even been this bad until I started casting magic when I was here. I didn't get to use... I wasn't able to do that before.
So that... Do you think your magic comes from your imaginary friend?
Yes.
You see her just kind of like look off in the distance. Holy fuck, okay.
Strahd, come get me!
maybe you should go into the tent and talk to Madam Eva about this. She just seems a little bit more, I mean, unless you want to talk to Strahd about it, I don't really know, but she seems like the best person to maybe talk about it. Or,
I was hoping that our session was gonna go a little longer, I'm not going to lie.
You should fucking tell your friends, too.
Well, I mean, I didn't know I had talked in my sleep. I just finding that shit out, okay? Now I'm really freaking out about this thing.
You should maybe tell your friends that you talk to a big fucking shadow monster in your sleep, and you tell it that you don't want to consume your friends. That seems like an important thing to tell them. With that, as you guys kind of now make your way to the tent as well, we're going to take our break so that Elliot can go deal with his kitty.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Intermission.
You guys just walk up on me and
Holy shit.
me and Irina shaking each other.
Yeah, as soon as like you guys walk up and as soon as you guys walk up and they notice you're there, they just both go quiet. No, we're not talking about anything.
No, it's girl stuff.
Yeah.
Irina just looks just intensely disturbed.
She takes a step away from me when everybody else gets there.
Irina like goes and sits in a corner and like brings her knees to her chest.
I'm surprised she's been sleeping in that tent. I'm surprised she didn't just leave the first night, just start walking and be like, Strahd will find me.
I can't believe it. Not to mention, I've been sequestering her. I've just been, saying, yeah, we're gonna share a tent together. Not really asking her permission.
You were just pushing her further and further to Strahd as she lost sleep every night. She over there just screaming in your nightmares. You like shoot up from your nightmare in cold sweats and shit, and she's like, oh shit.
Again.
Which is gonna be really interesting since we're probably all gonna sleep in the same tent tonight.
Yeah, everybody's gonna get to hear your nightmare.
Azricus slowly grabbing a pillow to place over your face. Just...
I get my stuff ready to sleep outside again.
Caelvo's already outside because he usually sleeps next to Alden, but he's out in the woods looking for something.
Azricus is going to sleep by the fireside, actually.
Okay.
So Irina's stuck in here with me all alone again, ain't she, boys?
Very much.
Why'd he say it like that?
I've had a bit of ale.
I'm picturing everyone walking in, Irina whispering, "Help me!" and they all walk out again.
Yep.
Okay, as you guys go to bed down, Alden, Caelvo, and Azricus outside, each in your respective locations. Elizabeth and Irina find their places inside a much larger, more lavish kind of tent than you guys are used to as well. Because the caravan is stopped in one place for a really long time, they're able to kind of, spruce up the tent a bit more than you guys do, more in a traveling type of tent. And night falls, the fire dims. You guys end up each kind of drifting to sleep. Do you guys set up a watch at all, or do you kind of assume that that's kind of on the Vistana, right? They have their own watch around camp.
Well, I'll have Chirp watching. He'll be perched on Caelvo, just kind of watching about.
Yeah, they said we were safe, and I believe the man.
Okay.
I'm no help to anybody this evening anyway, so I'm going to bed.
Azricus probably stays up for a first watch by himself, but then doesn't wake anyone else up and goes to bed.
I think it's pretty safe to assume as well that, based on the stories that you guys heard tonight and stuff, that Strahd and his minions probably won't attack the camp. These people seem like they've been here for a while, and if anything does attack, they're probably pretty resistant to it on their own. So that's all pretty safe to assume. And as you guys each kind of one by one drift to sleep, the thoughts still kind of linger on your mind of what was Strahd doing here? The remaining tarot reading also kind of still stays in your minds. Madam Eva's description and kind of vision of each of you also kind of lingering. She said something about each of you that maybe you guys didn't really know about each other. Seems like you kind of found out about some of it at the fire tonight. You found out a little bit more about Azricus. Alden didn't really reveal too much, but she didn't really reveal too much that you guys didn't know about Alden either. She revealed a little bit about Elizabeth, a little bit about Caelvo. All of that kind of lingering in your thoughts as you inevitably drift to sleep. And before you know it, it's morning. But before we get there, Elizabeth, you once again find yourself in a dreamscape. Surrounded by fog and mist. Figures loom just out of your reach in the mist and just out of sight for you. And a larger figure now looms before you. Morvelis now stands at his full height of around 8 to 9 feet, yellow eyes staring down to you. You see the images of your friends once more. Consume.
I'd like to shout at the shadow because he's so much taller than I am. Why do you want me to do that though?
As you shout in your dream, your lips move, your mouth parts, your jaw moves. There's no sound that emits from your mouth. And The shadow now, in what feels like the magic of an instant, right? Where like he moves a bit faster than natural in your dream, now moves its face closer down to your face. You feel like the shadow is but inches from you, but you can't make out defining features. You hear the words now ring through your mind. You must not trust any of them.
But why? They've got me this far.
There's a pause for a moment. The innocence of a little girl now juxtaposes the potential evil of Morvelis and all of the power that thus subsumes him. These thoughts kind of ring through your mind, not with Morvelis's voice, but as if it's coming from yourself. You hear that kind of like internal dialogue that we all have with each other. I don't know if you guys do or don't. I've heard that people just like, what's that? The Robbie off of Critical Role says that he doesn't hear a voice in his head, which is crazy to me. He just like sees pictures or whatever. But you hear kind of like an internal dialogue for you that is of yourself, and it basically says, the path to power is paved with the blood of your friends. The only way to escape this place is becoming more powerful than the lord of it. And thoughts flash in your mind at this point. They don't feel like they're your own, though. It feels somewhat like they're your own, but like they were placed there by a foreign entity, right? They feel like thoughts. They feel like maybe they, are kind of inside of your head, but they don't feel like they were originated there. It feels like they were placed there, either through magic or through, the dreamscape, whatever, right? It's not like it makes a whole lot of sense in your dreams, but you see kind of images flashing of you standing over Alden, for example, his undead body lying still in the dirt. You see Caelvo hanging from a tree, swinging very slowly by the hangman's noose. You see Azricus bloody and beaten by what appears to be blown apart by multiple different eldritch blasts in his monstrous form. And then you wake up. Cold sweats now clinging to your face as the sun crests the horizon and dawn now appears.
And Irina is rocking back and forth, cradling herself in the corner.
Irina is sat where she was asleep, eyes wide the fuck open, by the way, and is like, I told you. I know you just had a crazy dream. She's like pointing at you and stuff from the side. I know you just had something crazy happen to you in your dreams. And she kind of gets up, gathers her things, and like kind of swiftly walks out of the tent, kind of leaving you to your thoughts in the moment.
Arvina's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not sharing a room with her anymore. It's become too much.
It was fun. It was cute. I learned she was a sociopath.
I would probably, dust myself off and then go and see if I could find Madam Eva.
Okay. As you kind of walk to Madam Eva's tent, the others, what are you guys doing as dawn now crests the horizon and the sky, it's not necessarily super bright outside, but the sky does light up more so than it does at night.
Azricus takes a moment in the morning to write more of his notes, like what he kind of leaves behind for members of his order to find if they make it this far, if they come after him.
Okay.
Just all the information that he's learned since Barovia, basically. Which is a lot.
And do you like leave it somewhere in the camp?
I don't think I'm going to leave it in the camp.
Okay.
I'll probably leave it at the crossroads when we go back through there.
Okay.
If I don't bring it up, we can assume that I leave it there somewhere and mark the spot the same way.
Sounds good. Alden and Caelvo, as dawn now comes. You're muted.
muted.
I'm praying.
Okay. Azricus, you kind of see, even as you kind of awake, you see Alden praying as the sun is like cresting the horizon. It seems like he had probably been there for a moment even before that happened. Caelvo.
Well, he was trying to look for something last night, but he got a nat 1, so that didn't work. So he's going to try again. He's just going to find a bit of bendable bramble, if he can find a bramble bush nearby.
Yeah, you definitely find a bramble bush nearby. Give me a survival check, actually, to see just like how good you are at kind of pulling a bit of it off without like hurting yourself.
So last night when he tried, he got a nat 1. This time he got a nat 20.
Okay.
Hell yeah, he learned from his mistakes.
Exactly. Last night you like hurt yourself when you like tried to kind of pull the bramble off. You like weren't really sure how to kind of get it right, because bramble's not exactly like the easiest thing to manipulate even without hurting yourself. And so you sat there all night thinking about that fucking bramble bush and how you were gonna get some bramble off of it. And tried out your theory this morning. Worked perfectly. You get just enough bramble for what you're you get more than just enough bramble for what you're looking for, which I know are kind of just materials, right, and components. You get more than enough of it.
Well, with what he's got, what he's going to do for starters, he actually has a component pouch. So he's going to pull a piece of twine out of that and bend the bramble and kind of make it into a ring lake, just for him to wear for the time being.
Okay.
That's it. Nothing beyond that.
You guys at this point kind of see first Irina walk out from the tent where her and Elizabeth were. She's got kind of a weird look on her face. Doesn't really talk to any of you guys and just goes and kind of sits down next to the fire and is like being very humble, very polite, like kind of trying to make herself small. And then Elizabeth kind of walks out after, seeming, maybe a little bit groggy. She kind of also looks like, a little paler than normal. And then walk front, doesn't really like, maybe gives you guys like a nod or something kind of on the way, but kind of beelines it to Madam Eva's tent, considering they're like right next to each other.
I don't look at any of you. I go to Madam Eva's tent as quickly as possible.
Okay, and inside of Madam Eva's tent, you do find her there, as you kind of like peek in through the large kind of tent door. It's like a rather like heavy kind of flap that you kind of like push open and walk into. You walk back into the room that the tarot was read in. Madam Eva greets you with a "Welcome, my child."
Knock, knock. Do you have a moment to speak?
Indeed, I knew you would be coming.
I figured. I have 2 questions for you.
Ask, and I will do my best to answer.
My dreams, my shadow are becoming stronger, and seems to promise me a way out of this place if I do something terrible. What should I do?
Well, it is not up to me to tell you what you should do, but I can maybe give you a peek into your future, she says. The candles in the room all kind of change from their crimson color of a normal kind of candle flame to a kind of like a darker, almost purple, and then into blue. And you see her kind of sit there for a moment, almost as if listening to something, her mouth moving with no words coming out of it. I think you have 2 paths in front of you, my dear. You can choose to be the good little noble girl that you've always been. And maybe your shadow lends you some power here or there. Or you can choose to lean into it. Maybe find out what it wants of you, other than just the awful things you hear. But I think that there are 3 final outcomes no matter what path you choose. You will either sit on the throne of the Dark Lord yourself, escape this harrowing domain, or die in it. And I don't think that you want the same fate your father suffered. I think that what your shadow told you in your dream last night may be right. The path to power is paved in the blood of your friends. Strahd himself knows that better than most. And I think that the only way out is through. You're going to have to get through that thing. Probably both things, your shadow and Strahd, I imagine. But don't let your shadow be the one to control you. It is your decision if you choose to lean into it or if you choose to stay as you are.
I will have to do some soul searching for sure.
Indeed, I would ask yourself how much your friends mean to you. And how much either escaping or maybe how much gaining power means. I feel like I know you a little bit, and I, have seen you. You don't seem like the person who necessarily wants power for power's sake. But there is a lot of good you can do. And in order to do that, you do need power. So I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I had one other question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, dear.
Where should I look to help Alden?
That's a great question. His affliction is tied to Strahd. Strahd's fate is tied to many things in the land. Let me just say that if dispatching Strahd were as easy as a sword through the heart, or cutting off his head, or exposing him to a beam of sunlight, for example, he would have been dead long ago. I think that your first start should be dispatching the Lord who looms over the land, and the one who cursed him.
It seems to be the plan. Everybody needs this man god.
I think you would be surprised. Not everybody does. You should be wary, my dear. Not everybody who comes off as your friend is really your friend. Are you sure that Alden really has all of his senses? Is he truly free of Strahd's will? Are you sure that no one in your party was placed there beforehand? How did you get to Barovia, if you don't mind me asking?
It was my mother.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw in a vision that the orc and the vampire were hired by your parents, yes?
They were hired to help us deal with the problem of the mist in our town.
I wonder if any of them were hired by your mother.
Madam Eva wants me to go evil, I'm just saying.
I think that she really wants you to not be as trusting, just because you seem like a good character, right? I think you're technically like neutral, but I think that like Elizabeth wants to be good. She was raised by her father, who was good, and she took more of a liking to her father. So like there is that kind of streak of your father in you that is a good person. But like Barovia doesn't have a whole lot of room for that. Alden, who was, in my opinion, like pretty lawful good, ended up kind of becoming a zealot due to that lawful goodness, right? And is like still maybe even a zealot today, but he's like learned a little bit from his mistakes of like maybe not being as brazen about it in front of like Strahd, right? But like, yeah, she understands just how many spies Strahd has in the land and doesn't want you to like ever be fully trusting of people. I think she also kind of feels a little bad for you because Morvillis is not exactly a great pact host, but
I would thank you, madam. Is there anything that I could offer you?
she kind of sits there thinking for a moment. Actually, there is. If you don't mind, I'm going to have a little peek at your shadow. Take a seat, she says, as she kind of extends her like old kind of crooked fingers out to a chair that sat in front of the velvet table.
I will sit down in the most flamboyantly noble way possible.
Okay.
And say, and as being like, she's very polite and I'm trying to be polite back to her. And then I guess, my lady.
She pulls out a like necklace from kind of like a drawer that's sat to her side here. Pulls out a necklace and says, "Now I just want you to watch the end pendant of the necklace." She says, "On the count of 3," and you see the kind of pendant starting to sway back and forth. You feel magic in the air kind of swirling around you. On the count of 3, you're going to fall gently asleep.
Okay.
1, 2, and 3. You're asleep now, and you feel yourself drift off, though you can still kind of hear. And with that, we'll move to the people outside. Alden, Caelvo, and Azricus, you see Elizabeth not even look at any of you and just move directly into Madam Eva's tent. What are you guys doing outside as you... Alden, I'm assuming you kind of wrap up your prayer, obviously, at a certain point after dawn. Caelvo and Azricus, you see Alden obviously praying at first and then kind of getting up. I'm assuming you guys are all kind of getting your stuff together and stuff ready to kind of move out because... you do have somewhat of a deadline, I suppose, on the gift for Madam Eva's great-granddaughter. Or great-grandniece, whatever it is.
You
Man,
made it.
I had a
The
crazy...
Vashanti that...
No, go on.
Sorry. The Vashanti that they pointed out to us as a likely, agent of Strahd, I'm going to go and check their tent to see if they're still in there.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
As you go up to her tent and peer inside, it's fucking barren. She has cleared out and is no longer there. She didn't even leave like a fucking pillow behind. Like, it's like no one was ever in the tent and it was like just set up and like ready for someone to move in.
She was
That
like,
little rat.
They got some cursed girl there. I'm not staying there anymore.
Yeah,
I imagine-
definitely that, and not, oh, this crazy bitch is talking to the mist. I should go warn my master.
Yeah. God damn.
That is... I could only imagine what someone who just is like a servant of Strahd would think hearing something like that. Like, oh, this is big. Yeah. This is a
I got some tea.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder what I'm going to get for telling Strahd this.
Yeah.
Caelvo and Azricus says,
wild.
you see Alden beeline for the tent after he's done praying, right? He like wants to know. You guys also know that that's kind of where she was. You see him poke his head out, and then Alden, do you kind of like shake your head from afar, right? To like kind of like let them know?
Yeah. Definitely.
Azricus and Caelvo, what do you guys do with that information?
Caelvo doesn't think
Yeah,
anything of
figured
it.
as much. Yeah. Azricus is like, figured as much.
You guys eventually see Arturi return to camp, the larger Vistani guy that left in the middle of the night.
Morning.
Morning, I'm glad that you are all okay.
You as well.
He kind of looks around. Where is the girl with the imaginary friend?
She went to go and speak with Madam Eva. Beat me
Interesting.
to the punch.
Irina just kind of like silently nods. Eventually, Elizabeth, you emerge from the tent. I'll give you an update in your character channel as to like what actually happened. But you emerge from the tent, and see Arturi has returned to camp. You kind of see Alden over near where the girls' tent was, kind of making his way back now, I'm assuming, to the fire. Azricus, as you see her leave, did you want to go talk to Madam Eva?
Yeah, he kind of gets up and like sees her coming and is like,
What did you talk to her about?
Some tough shit, man. Some tough fucking shit.
You asked her for more help and insight?
Yes. Did you want to go in?
No, I do have a question for her. I don't know if she'll be able to answer me, but I do have something to offer her.
I think you would be surprised.
I think it would be dangerous for her to tell me what I would ask.
and I will go and walk into the tent.
Okay. As you push past the large flap, Elizabeth, you kind of move back out into the camp. I'm actually... You guys can like talk amongst each other at the camp. I'm going to move Azricus down, and we'll have our meeting in there.
Ooh. Ooh.
So, Elizabeth.
Good
Man,
morning.
I had a weird dream. I had a dream that I was hanging by a tree. There was like this rope that was hanging down from this branch, and it had like a loop. And I kind of just grabbed the loop and was just swinging around. It was a lot of fun.
It's probably just because we passed so many of those hang nooses on the way here.
Yeah, I guess they're for swinging and stuff. I never realized it
They're
was for
not
fun.
for swinging that way.
Oh. Well, yeah, because they're handles, right?
Know what they're for, Caelvo?
I guess not. What are they for?
They're for hanging people by their neck until dead.
And then he freezes. Like, what? Why would anyone do that?
I don't know why they have so many out here. Usually they're reserved for criminals.
Are there that many criminals? You need that many nooses?
That's what I said. I don't know why they have so many here. Normally one town might have one every once in a while. At my town, we would just build it and take it down so it didn't take up any space.
You think it might work on Strahd?
No.
Oh.
Strahd is a very big magical man.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I've seen so many hang nooses on the way here. I'm sure they would have tried.
That's a good point. So how are you guys doing?
Not great.
Yeah, I didn't sleep very well last night.
Oh. I'm sorry, Alden, you got broken because of me, but I'll try to fix you if we can.
You've done nothing to me, little man.
I still feel guilty. So, What next
Sure.
after this? We're gonna find birthday present?
Yes, we'll have to
I
go to
believe so.
Valaki.
It was
Although we
Baroque?
were gonna go to Strahd's house after we left here.
Well, is Barovia the
was-
town outside of Strahd?
But that's backwards.
Mhm.
But there's a shortcut on the way to Valaki.
Wasn't that place abandoned?
What do you mean? No, the Strahd's castle?
No, the Balaki.
No, that's
Barovia, sorry.
Barovia is
Yeah.
the town we came from.
Oh, Balaki is the one with the toy store.
Yes.
Yeah, Valaki is the place that we're headed towards, which is like a bigger town.
This place is confusing.
They have a lot of weird names for things, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Although-
forgot. I need to look outside of the camp for my guy to bring me my silvered sword.
Oh, where's that supposed to be?
Right outside the camp this morning.
Oh, let's go find him.
Oh, we could probably still go to Strahd's because we're gonna just have dinner there. And presumably that's all that's gonna happen.
Oh no, we should not do that right now. No.
We can't
should
make
go
him
get-
wait too long, though.
Okay. We don't gotta make him wait long, but
What
You
if
know.
we
Well,
wait?
do it whenever we've finished Madam Eva's, like, toy quest.
Yeah.
And that'll complete this area, and then we'll move on to the next area and complete that area.
Maybe we can go to his castle after he's left and say, oh, well, we tried, and then not go back.
Terrible things will happen in Caelvo if we do not go and have dinner with this man.
He's such a bully.
We can't think of just ourselves here either.
I know.
We've met some nice people here, and I don't want to put them into danger.
Yeah, like that nice couple she lost her husband.
I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, next time we escort someone, let's not let them go up and fight because that's a bad idea.
Yes,
they
but
went of their own volition.
I still
Yeah.
would have stopped them because, like, what are you doing? I mean, well, I don't know. I don't know
they
his
have the
skill.
right to protect themselves as well.
This is a bad place.
You can say that again.
This is a bad place.
Thanks, Caelvo. Saying it twice makes it better.
Good. Maybe you can show me your home when we get out of here.
If you don't go back to yours, I'd be happy to.
Well, with my dad gone, it would be a sad place.
You're always welcome to visit. Or live there, too. I mean, I don't mind. I'll probably have to kill my mom and take over the town, so I'll be in charge.
Are you sure killing is necessary?
Yes.
Can't you wait for old age for her to get married to
I'm
someone
pretty
who's
sure
not
she
nice?
killed my dad.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure she killed my dad and put the curse on me.
Oh,
She cannot be allowed to tarnish my father's name and run my town into the ground.
well, I guess when we get done here, we'll have another mission. I'll help.
I'm sure we'll all have our missions. For when we leave.
Yeah.
How did you get you've just kind of found yourself here?
Well, it was morning and it was foggy. but it was foggier than usual. It wasn't like the tide fogs because we live by the ocean. And then skeletons came out and started to attack me, and when my dad came out, they ran him through, and then the fog got thicker and I got lost and I ended up on the road where you guys found me.
This fog is very strange.
You know what the worst thing is about this? That's funny because Brae isn't here to hear this. I still never got a chance to pay back my dad. I mean, now that he's dead, I can't give the money back I took.
That you took?
Yeah, I wanted a scroll, and it was expensive, and I didn't have enough, so I borrowed from the shrine, and I got the scroll, but I guess fate had it against me because when I tried to copy it, I lost it, and I lost the scroll. I spent the money, and I've been trying to earn enough to pay it back, but with Dad gone, I don't have anyone to pay it back to.
Sounds like your father was a man of worship, and you took it from the temple or something.
Yeah, I do need to pay them back. I mean, I
could
plan
pay
to.
them back.
I really do.
Then it's not all for naught.
I guess. Still, I still wanted to apologize to Dad while I could.
There's a great many things I would have liked to ask and talk to my father about as well. But
Maybe if we find some water, I can make a couple of reed charms for us, because sometimes they guide spirits, and maybe we can talk to our dads that way.
if that is something you can try, I mean, I would be amenable to that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that my father's passed on with whatever thing Strahd did, but also that man I can't trust either, so
Yeah.
it'd be good to know for sure.
What about you, Alden? Where would you go? I mean, obviously
When
we're
we're
going to
done
try
with
to
this
fix you,
place?
but
Don't know where I'd go. First to see my people, or who knows? I can't tell what is best for me now.
us, I think for now, we'll take care of you. You're a family now. If
And
you want.
when we kill Strahd, I'd rather.
Bless you.
I was gonna say great accent, Strahd. I love it.
When we kill Strahd, I don't know how I will be able to control my wrath.
I'm sure we'll find the way.
I'm sure I would be telling you guys right now whatever I found out from Madam Eva about it.
Azricus eventually comes walking out of the tent, kind of like wrapping like a small kind of bit of cloth around his hand, and then makes his way back over to the bonfire.
How was your game, Toms? It was good. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
And with that, did you guys want to update me on anything that you guys like talked about at the campfire, or?
Oh, we did. We just shot the breeze and talked about different things.
Okay.
I'll share in the video.
Awesome. Yeah. With that, we will end the session here. I think we're a little bit after now as well. And on our next episode, we will be traveling outside of the camp. And yeah, getting on the route to Vallaki.
To Vallaki!
Yes.
To Barovia. I mean, Balaki. I mean...
Or I suppose to Castle Ravenloft, depending on your decision.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that. It would make sense, like, we just complete this area first, and then we complete that area.
Yeah, makes sense.
Gotta get the toy.
We gotta 100% this bitch.